Hello everyone, welcome to Sinful Gaming. Hope you're all doing well, hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Hello heroes, hello everyone that is already here in chat. Hope you're all doing well, hope everyone's staying safe. And yeah, we're just going to put out the question, but what are people looking forward to seeing today at the Warhammer reveals? They'll be live in about 2 hours and 15 minutes, roughly. So we'll start looking at it in about 2 hours. But until then, we're going to be doing some hobby. You're going to be chatting what we think is going to come for the reveals. And yeah, having a jolly good time. So, what is everyone wanting from these reveals today? What is everyone wanting to see? What do we think we're going to see? We saw the little banner picture that went up. Yeah, Gits, let me see. I'm going to see if I can pull up the image. I'm going to pull up the image for, there we go, there it is. Let's see. All right, sorry about that. Just got to reload it. For some reason, it hates. Move. Why are we doing that? Okay, reloaded. We're gonna play ball now. Share screen. Here we go. There we go. There we go. We got it up. We got what I wanted up. Finally got there. It's been annoying lately. I have to like reload. The computer for some reason it's stopping me sharing my screen every time. But this is what I was talking about. We get this banner picture every time. So while we're going through and while I'm looking for the first paint to start working on my leather, what are people's thoughts on what we're going to see from this? It's Carrick Stone. Tuscal Fur, please. Where are you? Yeah, Tuscal. Yeah, I could definitely see that. John, I think you've got a good shout there. Second one, like people are saying yes, but for me, that really, really looks Slaanesh. That second one, the second one in on the left. So a couple of things lead me to believe Slaanesh. First of all, the back banner part, those little spikes at the bottom of the back banner, definitely to me scream Slaanesh. It's very Slaanesh looking. Then the blade, the way the blade comes out in front is more Slaanesh than Gits. If they've had curved blades, generally go back behind the blade, not in front like that one. The circular shield is very reminiscent of things like Hellstriders and the shields they have. Oh, yeah, I know that one. I know there's Gits. A couple of people in like my local community Discord were saying the second one might be the second one in from the left. might be Gits as well. But for me, that looks Slaneshi. Like, the fact it's like a humanoid arm coming out of sleeve. Gits generally don't tend to have like their whole arms out their sleeves. They're generally hands just out the sleeves. There's not generally a whole bunch of arms. The one on the far right is 100% the Khorne Marines. Like that one, I think the two on the right hand side, I think are pretty sure what they're going to be. I think, that's Khorne Marines and Gloomspite Gits. Now, whether that is a battle tome or it is the Warhammer Underworlds warband remains to be seen. No, we could get both in this. I just don't think they're going to show two Git silhouettes up here. They're going to show 5 different silhouettes. And the fact that the one on the first one in on the right, second one in on the right is Gits, I don't think we're going to have another Git silhouette up there. So I think I agree with John. I definitely could see that flail being, Dawnbringer Crusades, Slanesh, probably Age of Sigmar Slanesh. The blade is very reminiscent of Myrmidesh Painbringers. The shield is Hellstrider. The mount looks like some sort of horsey beast with a head down. It doesn't look squiggish because squigs normally are body and then rounder from the tail. The rider sits on top of the roundest part, which that doesn't look like where that model is. You can sort of see the leg going either side. The one that I think is the most interesting, and the one that I don't think I have any true ideas for, other than one, is the middle one. I think that might be like Dark Mechanicus or something, because we are obviously Dark Omens is, I think, yes, John, you are 100% correct. Yeah, so there's two. It does have the circular part on the left-hand side. I could see that. But the fact that it's not symmetrical on that one says to me, because where his head is, right? Where that model's head is, doesn't to me say Space Marine, because that circular bit on the top left of the backpack isn't the same on the right, which is not Space Marine. That to me says that's on a, rather than seeing it, from this angle, circular bit here, no circular bit here, that doesn't mean Space Marine to me. We're seeing it side on, which to me says the fact it's larger in the bottom than it is at the top, which is the exact opposite of Space Marines. Space Marines are thicker at the top of their backpack, thinner down the smaller of the backpack. It could definitely be like maybe Adeptus Sororitas, maybe. Yeah, Imperial Guard Rough Riders, Andrew Zucker, you're definitely on a right sort of track. It's definitely, that's what leads me not to believe Space Marine. The ones that it's not got 2 cylinders and the one that's thicker down the bottom rather than the top. I don't think we're going to see Cities Minis. The fact that we're getting those articles reminds me of Sisters of Battle. We're going to see bits and pieces. We're not going to see an army of those. I don't think they're coming out till not next year, the year after. I've said this before. I don't think we're seeing Dawnbringer Crusades till not this year, the year after. Maybe the first release of that year. But I'd love to be wrong. People know I love my cities. But yeah, what hobby have people been working on? Gonna start getting some paint on my palette. Yeah, we might see a teaser. Rustbelt, we're just talking about, the 5 silhouettes, what we think the 5 silhouettes might be. Don't forget, if you are joining us live, to drop a like on the channel. Helps people, or at least on the video, helps people come find us while we're live and keep chatting. And also, we do have, for those who like supporting the channel and have been here before, we have a Discord, and that's linked in the video's description. You can come join there. We talk all things wargaming, from all the different games we play on the channel to others I don't, and just have a generally nice community there. With how some other social media sites are going at the moment, Discord's been fantastic. And then we also have YouTube members as well, which you can join, and you get the cool emojis, like some of our people in the chat have their YouTube member emojis available to them, which is really cool. So we're going to start with some tusk or fur here. Whoop. Get onto our wet part. I'm going to start highlighting the lighter leather. Oh, I just ordered a new computer. Ouch. That is certainly something I think on my horizon. Me and the wife just had like a good chat of buying a house. So that'll be most of next year's funds going towards that. So that'll be that. So there will not be any traveling for events next year, because yeah. Going to be a house buying next year, I think, or at least on the process to starting to save to buy a house. It should be said. Starting to properly save to buy a house. That's probably the best way to put it. So yeah, we're just starting on the lighter leather we've got on the models now. We see on their legs and greaves. Nate, so we're live at this point because we've got this reveal stream coming at 2:30 our time. So that will be the reason we're live. We're only live at this time because there's a reveal stream. It's nice having one where I'm completely awake for. I feel rested. I feel great. I don't feel like I'm about to pass out from exhaustion. These American ones are actually usually like really good times for Australia. Yeah, the hope is it may be a Warhammer Underworlds warband, but I've been looking into Underworlds a bit lately. I was having a chat with some friends talking about potentially doing like maybe some Rivals content on the channel. If that's something people might like to see. I've got so many of the warbands sitting there. John, yeah, it's pretty much 2 hours away now. Even if you don't like Underworlds, the minis themselves are some. I would say Underworlds, hands down, is the best miniatures range of any game in existence on its entirety. Like the standard of Underworlds minis is, at worst, very good. Like the worst warbands are still very good miniatures. Yeah, there are. So you would need to grab the current. Well, actually, it should still be available. Current Tome of Champions has most of the Underworld warbands from the previous season. So anything before Harrow Deep. Harrow Deep were in a White Dwarf, which you can probably go find them on the internet. And then there's a couple more coming out in the White Dwarf for the next ones. So there's a couple in the White Dwarfs. If you like these side games for Warhammer, like these secondary systems, White Dwarf is a fantastic buy. Yeah, so my thoughts are it's a flail, but it does certainly look more 40k-ish. It could be like something to do with the Dark Omen stuff we've seen. Could be, like a weird sort of Inquisitorial or Adeptus Mechanicus unit, perhaps. Number 2, I think it looks very Slaanesh to me. I was talking about that before on why I think it's Slaanesh. Just realised I've forgotten the helmets on all the ones I've done so far. We don't need Squig Hopper Zone 8. We've got Squig Hoppers already. Like, the kit for Squig Hoppers is Age of Sigmar era. Maybe we'll get Squig Hoppers for Underworlds, maybe, though. I think that might be the Underworlds warband there we're seeing with that Gloomspite model, which is quite clearly a Gloomspite model. I think, maybe the Gloomspite model this time is a Loon Boss, because it's got the Crescent Moon helmet. Maybe it's a Loon Boss. It just looks too overly detailed to be a regular model, although the Gits characters are quite out there, quite eccentric models. Give me a sec. I'm just going to go kill a bot. I'm just going to go kill a bot. Oh, yes, they finally put integration on. Yay. Well, maybe it really is a Slaanesh model. But maybe this is a sign it really is a Slaanesh model. Good. They finally put integration on StreamYard, my streaming software for deleting bots. Good. There's something I actually asked them to do. I'm glad to see it too. Yeah, it looks like there's Gloomspite, perhaps maybe Daughters of Cain, maybe something else. It was like 2 crescent shapes. Now, it is worth remembering, I did put the thing out, that those crescent shapes were very jagged in their look on the Warcry roadmap. They were very jagged crescent moon, like jagged moon shapes, which is very Slaanesh, very Tzeentch looking as well. Tzeentch uses the moon as well. You've obviously got like a couple of the characters. I don't think we'll see any old world news this year. The way they make it sound is Warhammer Fest might be like the big thing for Warhammer Fest next year will be old world. That'll be the big thing they're talking about. Yeah, unlikely, but I always like to cover my bases and think about other options. I never, with reveals, get my mind set on something because you always end up disappointed. If you're set on something coming out in a reveal show, you'll be disappointed every time when it's not exactly the thing you wanted. So I like to go, what if it's this? What if it's this? I like to ponder on them. From what maybe some of the rumors are saying on Old World is potentially it might see the re-release of old kits to start with. So you'll probably see some new kits for maybe the 2 launch factions. But there will be re-releasing of some of the old plastic kits because GW have them there. It's a great way just to start up the machine with it. And for them, make sure it's profitable and actually invest the time and effort into it properly. Can't wait to get that new Warcry set with the Zinch Cultist, though, the Jade Cultist, and the Chameleon Skinks. Amazing miniatures. Yeah, like Cathay will certainly, I think Kislev and Cathay will certainly get new miniatures. We'll get full ranges, I think. Carl Franz isn't even around yet. He isn't even born at this point in the point in time Old World's set now. Yeah, like I think for start, I think we're going to see like maybe a character series similar to what Horus Heresy got, which honestly for me is fantastic. Bring back all those amazing characters that were in fantasy, but with the Horus Heresy character series is fantastic with the Primarchs, with characters, notable characters from the book. So bring back, a character series for fantasy with, like brand new sculpts for, like, I can only imagine like an Orion and Alariel and all that sort of stuff. Eduardo, we are painting some Rohan, some Riders of Rohan for the Middle-earth strategy battle game, which we're hoping to get up and running properly on the channel soon. Been playing quite a bit of it in the background, just not on the channel. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, or like even like Durthu, like we have Durthu around nowadays. We don't need a brand new Durthu model. But you look at the old metal Durthu and look at the new plastic one that comes in the tree that can be built from the Tree Lord kit. Now, obviously, like they would bring back characters like Teclis and like Alariel would need models that suit that setting. Like you wouldn't be able to use the Age of Sigmar ones for them, obviously. But like reimagining that Teclis model would be cool. Reimagining Teclis before he's a god. Reimagining Alariel before she's a god. Although she was at least one of the nicer miniatures. She was one of the more modern ones. I mean, we technically still have Araloth for sale. Eduardo, I don't think they'll bring Sigmar in for quite some time because the whole like story of Sigmar is that he knows he's no longer a warrior. Eduardo's talking about Age of Sigmar. Like Sigmar will never be in Age of Sigmar because he's not a warrior anymore. Like if you notice too, like he's called the God King, where before he was the warrior god. And so it sort of happens where Sigmar has learnt that his best place is actually behind the lines, coordinating the defensive order, where he's not at the front lines, which is why like the Celestin Prime has Galmaraz, why he's made the Stormcast Eternals, because they're all infused with a little bit of his celestial energy. And so he's sort of learned that, like, okay, my best place is to actually be behind organizing, defending, ruling the kingdom. It's not to say he couldn't fight, but that's definitely like the big thing. Yeah, I miss when Forge World ages ago used to do busts. Like they used to be able to buy like GW specific busts as well. This is like long time ago. But that'd be like a really fun. It'd be like a really fun paint. Like imagine getting Alariel, the same Age of Sigmar model, but getting her, in that 50mm bust. Like, or something larger to paint, or even something like the Celestin Prime. Like imagine him, but in that larger scale as a bust, like, and all those big characters would be like a really cool like painting project. Right, and they've shown that like toys and display pieces like that work in the McFarlane toys, like in the toys, the figures they've brought out. So like display pieces, people really are. I've got one of the Sisters of Battle, the bare plastic ones. Yeah, but Nagash actually takes part in his battles. Like Nagash actually goes onto the field. Sigmar doesn't. Now, on that note, Dracothan has been on the battlefield before. He helped retrieve Galmaraz back in the Realmgate Wars. But yeah, like busts would be really cool. Like Warhammer busts. Like if GW sold busts, I'd probably buy a few. Really cool. You could even use them as terrain pieces if you really wanted to as well. Malarian, yeah, Malarian is the new name for Malekith. Big reason that name changed is obviously Malekith is a copyrighted trademark somewhere else. Marvel actually have the name copyrighted, but it's also a name from, it's like Malekith is the actual name of Norse mythology. King of the Elves. Hey, Eduardo, I've long been for saying, like, the Hell Pit Abomination is made from, like, a blind worm, a giant, like, worm underground. I've, for ages, been saying we need a rat dragon. Someone needs to get a dragon and mutate it with Clan Molder and make Clan Scry bits out of it and make a rat dragon. Rat dragon, 100% like this weird, mutated, horrible-looking dragon thing. Skaven. Would be amazing. Zinch. So funnily enough, that's actually the story I was talking about just before, where Dracothian comes. So when they find Galmaraz, they found so in the Romgate Wars, when they're looking for Galmaraz, they find it in the Hanging Valleys of Antioch, which is this giant, sort of Hanging Valleys, very Hanging Valleys of Babylon sort of inspired area. And so it's actually held together by the body of this great dragon that's actually fallen to chaos called Argentine. And his body's made of, he sort of spews out liquid metal. And so the waterfalls there are actually made of liquid metal, and Argentine sort of the power holding it. And he's this big defense by Zinch. He's been corrupted by Zinch during the Age of Chaos. And when the Stormcasts are trying to retrieve Galmaraz, Argentine starts, going for them and helping the Zinch followers that are keeping Galmaraz safe or out of Sigmar's grasp. And Dracothian has to come down and fight Argentine. Apparently, Argentine and Dracothian were like the best of all. Very not brothers, but very close. These two great drakes were very close. Argentine was tutored by Dracothian and fell to chaos. Maximunda is doing pretty well. We've got about what? Yeah, we're just waiting for the reveal stream, which is still a little while off. But just hobbying and chatting. Do we get the Great Horned Rat in AOS, or is an avatar? He's an avatar. So the Great Horned Rat is effectively like a Chaos God as much as whereas likely to see him in Warhammer as we are, the Chaos Gods themselves. So we see, his greater demons are the Vermin Lords, like we see the Bloodletters and all that. So in Age of Sigmar, with Slaanesh being bound up, the Horned Rat has effectively taken his place in the Greater Four Pantheon. I haven't played. I generally don't play many video games, so I don't. Other than seeing things for Total War, I don't really. I have not played a lot of it. Not much of a computer gamer, in all honesty. Started playing the only game I generally play when it comes out, and that is mostly nostalgia, and that is Pokemon. I play Pokemon. I play FIFA. And I play Skyrim. That's pretty much the extent of my gaming experience. Will do. Yeah. On that note, if anyone has played the new Pokemon games, they are amazingly good. Full three-dimensional characters. I'm amazed at the new Pokemon games. They are 10 out of 10. Been playing that a lot. Why these aren't finished painted? Because they probably would have got finished painted yesterday if I hadn't been playing Pokemon all day. after recording some games. We did we recorded our first game of Aeronautica Imperialis yesterday, which may just be my new favorite miniatures game. Aeronautica Imperialis. I absolutely Aeronautica Imperialis. Absolutely love that game. It's so cool. So not like, because obviously there's no terrain on the map, like, and so straight away, like, my thing is like, I love like maps with lots of terrain, but there's no terrain on the map because you're floating in the skies. But not only are you playing, like moving the pieces around, you've also got altitude in the game. So not only are you flying your models across the table, you've also got to keep your altitude different during the game. So which means like you might be at altitude 1 and you can't target generally anyone to altitude different from you. So because otherwise you'll need 7s to hit and that doesn't work. So yeah, it's quite interesting. It makes the game really 3-dimensional in how you play it. Absolutely love it. We played a couple of games yesterday. We recorded one after playing like 2 or 3 games. And I'm all in on that game. I will say, like, I love my Switch. I have had, since I got my Switch, I have had no want to go buy a PlayStation or Xbox ever. And especially since the Switch now is starting to get those big games. Like, my Switch now has Skyrim on it, which, the amount of people that still play Skyrim is quite high. But like, it's got good games on it. Like, it's getting the mainstream games on the Switch now. Yeah, they don't look as crisp and clean, and playing a video game. I'm not one of the people that's going to sit there and nitpick a video game because the tree doesn't have 57 grains of grains in its freaking wooden log. It looks like a wooden log. I'm happy with a wooden log in my video game. Levi, hello. How are we? But yeah, ever since I picked up my Switch, I've had no want, for Xbox or PlayStation. It's just like so much easier. Yeah, I still play my PS1 because I've got like nostalgic reasons. I've got like the good old Digimon world from way back in the day and things like Duke Nukem and all that on my PS1 that I still rather enjoy. Well, nice. You're building some slaves to darkness. Awesome. I'm just painting some Rohan for the Middle-earth strategy battle game. So what do I? About an hour and a half. It'll start, Levi. There'll be streaming along with it. We'll have it up on the screen. We're just hobbying and chatting. Asking everyone that jumps on the stream, what do you think we've seen in this little preview of the silhouettes? What do you reckon we have? Tell your 5 guesses, left to right, on what you think we have. Oh, that is correct. We do have Necromunda coming. So could that left one? That left one, could that be Necromunda, guys? House Delac, maybe? A weird mount for Delac? Or Cawdor? Good shout on the Necromunda stuff there, Levi. I'd completely forgotten about that. It's about the only GW system I don't play. No worries, Nate. Left one, Cruel Boy. Yeah, I'm not sure on that one. It does look like something mechanical at the bottom left of the left-hand picture. Like some sort of like grill or something that's very 40k to me. So yeah, maybe that could be a Necromunda piece. Oh. 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 Yeah. Oh, that's better. Stretch out a little. Who's that Warhammer? All right. Then we're going to go back and do a second layer of Tuscal Fern just because it's a pretty thin layer paint. Nice, decent coverage. But yeah, so it's going to be an interesting set of reveals. I don't think we're going to have a particularly big reveal show today. I think they'll probably show maybe like stuff that's out the rest of the year, start of January. We've got Arks of Omen, like, is probably going to be the biggest thing we see. I think, you know, any like really like groundbreaking reveals will happen next year, early next year, at LVO and Warhammer Fest. I don't think we're going to see anything too crazy today. Could just be nice to get rid. Some nice, cool, some, yeah, nothing too fancy. Internet's just being a little bit of a bugger at the moment. It's been going fine all stream, and now it's deciding it's going to play up a little. We're going to try and. I might disappear for 1 second as I just reconnect and reset the internet. Hopefully, that should see it be a little bit better. Don't be bad. Still saying it's terrible. No, sound's getting better. Get better. Come on. There we go. Oh dear. Internet issues in Australia. Gotta love them. slowly but surely getting all of this light leather in its first layer, and then we can highlight it and move on to our next stage of leather, the dark leather. I've got to do the front of the horses first as well with this. Just doing this beforehand because I'm going to have to use a smaller brush, more fine detail brush to do that work with. No. Don't know why I'm tired all of a sudden. Oh, it is been a long day. I was up really early with the kids. Gotta love it. Up the crack of dawn with kitty wheeze. Yeah, so the idea is hopefully get this Rohan done so we can get our first Middle Earth army on the channel. I've got a Eatling army in the cabinet just here. So get Rohan, maybe hopefully get a few more forces over the course of the next year. So we can start getting, some regular stuff on for Middle Earth strategy battle game. And then we'll start looking at some deeper factions as well. Start looking at what I can get, like some other factions, more unique factions to the game. Things like the Beornings, Ents, or Misty Mountains even. Get the Eagles as an army. Alrighty, so next up we have Carrick Stone needed. First of all, where is it? There it is. So now we're just slowly highlighting all the leather. Gotta do all the little dots on all the freaking bits and pieces on this. Robin, hello mate, how are we? Hope you're doing well, mate. Yeah, man. Looks great. I'd say lots of carnifexes there, man. Oh, nice. Sounds like a ton of fun, man. Easy, man. When I'm free off the computer, I'll definitely give you some tips. Nice. Oh, I can't wait to hopefully see GVs going away. Age of Sigmar will be in such a better place when this GHB goes away. Like the game itself, the core rules for Age of Sigmar at the moment, fantastic. The GHB is not my favorite by far. That definitely sounds interesting there, Robin. I certainly think there could be some issues with some of the codexes that have quite clear mistakes. But it certainly could be a lot of fun, like just playing out the books as written. Oh, that would be fun. Who could make the worst thing out of all these books? Oh, there'd be... You forget how broken some of those other books were. Like Harlequins, Dark Eldar, Admech. Admech straight out of the book would be horrifically good. Yeah, there's a lot of those books. So like Harlequins, Drukhari, Admech will be quite scary right out of the book. Disa, that would be... Yeah, the Orc... The Orc Buggy Spam would be another one that would be right there. It would be really interesting to like see all that in motion, see, you know, what has... Yeah, the multiple flyer lists. Well, that was a big one of the Admech. Admech were the ones that brought in the flyer caps and all that sort of stuff. So Admech with their flyer lists and all that. I'll be back in 1 second, guys. Just going to pop the toilet. I'm back. Gotta love it. Wife ordered me snacks as well. I'm the best wife. She ordered me snacks for my stream. She's like, in case you get hungry. Decent. Yeah, it really would be interesting to see like how that sort of stuff would stack up. You know, those busted lists over time. Like, you know, yeah. Why do I go and all of a sudden 5 of you start talking? Reveal show is in about an hour. Yeah, pretty much an hour from now, Rust Belt. I'm obviously here, curious. So yeah, in an hour of the reveal, I would say I'd probably go for about 45 an hour tonight. I don't think it's going to be a particularly big one. We'll have Arks of Omen and just a big thing, and a few other bits and pieces, but I don't think we're going to have like a massive reveal. For 40k, we may actually see the next chapter approved. We might see chapter approved and GHB. Actually, that might be something good we might actually see. Both chapter approved and the GHB. Flipping up Doodad? No, I do not play or involve myself in card games outside of Warhammer Underworlds at all. However, I have seen stuff. Are we talking about like the $1,000 booster packs? There's always drama though in every wargaming community and every gaming community. Oh yeah, yeah. People will buy it. People say the same thing about Warhammer all the time, but people will pay that money, although not always. Oh, I don't know. Age of Sigmar has its fair share of controversy. You just got to join Twitter and you'll see it. Oh, yeah, but 40k and Magic the Gathering are huge compared to the Age of Sigmar communities. Like, Age of Sigmar is a drop in the pond compared to those two communities. Yes, it does. Twitter counts because that's where 90% of the drama for everything comes from. There's always someone on Twitter making some bold statement about something, or someone telling you what you should be doing, or someone telling you that you shouldn't be doing something. And by that, I mean something stupid. Like, no, you should totally have misspelling is and misprints are in there. If it's missing a word that makes the rule work, it doesn't work. Or if it's like a wrong word and it completely changed. Ah, yeah. Yeah. Which is funny, right? If those cards they've said that we're not going to reprint, those cards obviously went up in value if they said they weren't going to reprint them ever. But obviously, if they've reprinted them in these $1,000 packs, they actually drop in value because now they're more available because these $1,000 packs come into the market. And so it's interesting. They're like curating their own market. Like people are going to lose money on those cards because the cards will suddenly be worth less. Even though there'll be like first edition ones and that sort of stuff. It'll still be those cards will probably still drop in price due to the fact that they're getting reprints now. I'd almost say it might even be intentional to curate their second-hand market. Necrons are at their best point right now, funnily enough. Robin? It's why, what was it? Pokemon Company, with its latest sets, are completely like overprinting their latest sets with Pokemon. Because Pokemon, like secondhand markets are interesting with cards because the companies don't see any money from it. And so they don't like the secondhand markets. Like, yeah, this is cool and all of that. Some of them see the promotional side of it and that. But it's no money in that sort of community for the makers of the card games. And so like Pokemon like massively overprinted their cards. Same as the Digimon game has massively overprinted releases, which has meant that even the rarest cards are much more common. And so, the latest Pokemon sets are not generating as much value anymore. And so they're trying to balance, because they're trying to bring back their line for where people were buying boxes of sets and then selling them for 5 times the cost, uncracked. And that causes massive issues because that actually hurts entry level of the game where people were doing that. I know a couple of people that were running game stores, and they would sell out of all their stock because you'd have all these older people trying to flip profits on the cards, right? Yeah, and that's the point. Curious, like that is their aim. They are there to sell a game, not sell a collector's item in trading cards. Like there's a game, they pay for events. And so what Pokemon did is because people were overbuying these boxes and, flipping them at massive costs, and it was actually harming the community in the long run. Thank you very much, Harlan Heath. That is very lovely of you. If you'd like to come chat and you enjoy the channel, we have a Discord server link down in the video's description, along with all the other links for channel merch, like the cool shirts we're wearing, and all of that stuff that goes and helps supports the channel, like Patreon, YouTube members, even sell dice and all that sort of stuff. Thank you very much. But yeah, like I was saying with they weren't like, it was damaging because like I remember my friend who owns a game store, he would have all these older people who were flipping cards for money, were buying all this stock, and then you'd have the young 8-year-old kid who just liked Pokemon and wants to have the latest Pokemon deck, wants to buy the latest, but can't buy it because they're out of stock everywhere. Like Big W and Target and all your like superstores and all that sort of stuff, all your game stores, everywhere's out because these people are buying it. Or they'd go, a new set would go online, and he was having to stop people doing online orders because he'd have people from like America ordering his stock, and he's in Adelaide, South Australia. Have people from America ordering all his stock. He'd put up cards, and then all of a sudden he'd sell 300 cases. All his Pokemon card stock gone because some guy in America bought it all. It was doing really bad, like that during COVID time, because like obviously card companies were struggling to put out product and all that stuff. Like, I think there's a market for investing in cards, like first edition Charizards and all of that from the first set. I like, you could almost call them antique cards, I guess you could say. I don't like the latest card in the current set being $400 because it's rare in the current set. I don't like that. I don't mind, first edition, high quality, well kept Pokemon cards from that very first edition of the game. I don't mind them being, sold for exorbitant prices. That's fine because those are collector's items, But selling, the latest Pikachu because it's the rarest card in the set for $300, not my thing. I think that does more damage to the game. Classic, John. That's a better word. Thank you. But Heartland Heath, thank you very much, mate. Really enjoy it. Flipped Up Doodad. Do I play in a kill team? We are looking at getting into kill team for the channel. I've actually picked up some of the books and stuff for kill team. We're starting to learn it. And so we do hope to have kill team on the channel probably by sometime next year, by early next year or late this year. We'll hopefully see kill team coming onto the channel. We just started Aeronautica Imperialis. So that'll be making its debut soon. But yeah, really, really enjoyed what I've seen of Kill Team. I'm going to grab another box of Sisters of Silence so I can have a Sisters of Silence Kill Team. And then buy all the specialty ones. All right. So that's done. So now we can actually go to the Carrick Stone stage. Give me a sec. I'm just going to turn my aircon on. It's getting a bit stuffy in here. It's been iffy, but it's been a muggy sort of day. So now we're doing the relays. Now we're just going to do a highlight on everything. So highlighting everything with Carrick Stone now. Oh, nice. What are we planning on painting Flipping Up Doodad? What's in the plans for getting painted. Oh, nice. Finishing your Krieg models. Nice. I do love those models. Nice. Yeah, like painting with friends is really good. This gets stuff done for me. Like I'm doing pretty decent work on these today. I was just sort of getting that mojo where like I can just plow through stuff now. Oh, nice. Sounds awesome, man. Believe me, I have so much to paint. Next year, I made the promise that there's no buying Warhammer after this year for next year, just because, like I said at the start of the stream, we're beginning to save up for buying a house. So I've had to make the decision. Luckily for me, some companies still send me some stuff to review, so we'll still get some stuff, but yeah, it should be a pretty good year of like making solid progress on my backlog. The idea. I'd love to finish next year with like a very small backlog. That would be an unbelievable goal. If I could have half the amount of backlog, or even a quarter of the amount of backlog I have at the end of this year. And that's not to say I've painted a lot this year. I painted a Daughters of Cain army, an Eldar army, a Space Marine army. What else have I painted? Painted a bunch of side game miniatures. Painted Necron army. Painted Conquest armies. I've painted Elder Scrolls. I've painted bunch of little like small miniature games. Painted 3 Blood Bowl teams. Done a decent amount this year. I don't think I've done quite as much as I did last year. But yeah, I think that'll be like a big goal for next year. I would love next year if I could have no backlog. I think that's a bit unattainable. But if I could knock out half my backlog next year, I think I'd be in a really good place. Well, let's just put it this way. In the last 2 weeks, I went on a bit of a splurge. I bought a Black Templars launch box. I bought a Adeptus Titanicus core set. I bought Warcry Heart of Gur. And I bought the Star Wars Legion starter set. Yeah. I've still got I've still got 3 Kings of War armies that I haven't, 2 which I haven't even built yet. No, Ashram, no, 40 minutes, mate. We've just got the preview up here, just seeing what we have available, some ideas. But yeah, curious. I've got so many different things. Yeah, I picked one. In Australia, I picked one up for $150, which is like half price. So I was just like, you know what? I like Black Templars. I like the miniatures in there. I'll grab it. No, it was at a good price. The miniatures are really, really cool. Yeah, so on that note, I will have something cool to show off, but Mantic sent me out a couple of sprues. So I've got 6 of the brand new ogres from Mantic that I'll get built and painted up and show off. They look really, really cool. These are really nice, cool ogres. So I'll get working on these at some point. I'll probably build them on singular basis because Mantic just released a skirmish game for their systems as well, which is really cool. King's War is great. I really love it. But Mantic, yeah, so Mantic just released a skirmish game. So like using singular miniatures, warband style game, using the Kings of War miniatures. So I'll be building all my Kings of War miniatures on singular basis so I can use them for that as well. I don't think we'll see Sylvaneth anytime soon because obviously Sylvaneth just got a big release. I'm flipping up Doodad. But World Eaters, I would 99% sure we're going to see World Eaters today. I think we'll see a launch box for them. Yeah, I think we'll see a launch box for World Eaters today. We might not see the whole range of miniatures. They might save that for LVO. Or for just revealing on Warhammer Community. Although we might see the whole range. We might see the whole World Eaters range. And then see, them go like, oh, and this is going to be the launch box we release. Be really cool. Speaking of Dispossessed, I've got a Warhammer Fantasy tournament coming up, so I'm going to be painting a Warhammer Fantasy Dwarf Army up. So that'll be a fun project. So yeah, next project we'll be getting a Warhammer Fantasy Dwarf Army painted up, so we can start having some Warhammer Fantasy games on the regular on the channel. Will be really cool. At the moment, I've only got my Wood Elves painted up. I do want to go back and properly paint them up because they were sort of rush finished. MH777, hello. How are we? Hope you're doing well, mates. We're just working on some Middle-earth strategy battle game Rohan Riders while we wait for the reveal stream to kick off, which will kick off in about half an hour. Long day at work? Yeah, it's been a long day at work for me too. No, I'm kidding. This is my work. Nowadays, I am lucky enough to be able to paint and play miniatures full time. It's been a long day. My kids had me up very early this morning. I made the mistake of going to bed very late last night with the brand new Pokemon game out. I could not do it without all the fantastic people that are in the chat now, whether that be people just watching, people that are Patreon or YouTube members, or people that buy channel merch, or literally just come or watch videos and chat. Everyone in that chat has made what I do possible. You're all absolutely amazing for it. I'm glad people like listening to me ramble about Warhammer enough. And other miniature games. Should say I play a lot more miniature games than Warhammer. That's a really cool idea for Middle Earth, using the Middle Earth Goat Riders. Bub Souls, when? The live stream you're talking about? It will start in about 28 minutes. We're just here chatting, talking. If you are just joining us, we've got on the screen, we've got the silhouettes that are coming up for the preview. What do you reckon we're seeing? Go left or right. Let us know what you think we are going to see today. Oh, they're printed. Either way, that would work. If someone doesn't have a 3D printer, that would do the same thing for them. Yeah, Flip Up Doodad. I've been thinking Dark Mechanicum. That middle one? Or the first one? First one I thought, one of the guys up above mentioned that we are seeing Necromunda today. So I think that first one is Necromunda. Second one looks Slaanesh to me. I've put all my reasons why. Broken Chef, hello mates. We are about 27 minutes away. Any new games caught my eye, MH? So I've just started playing Aeronautica Imperialis. We just recorded our first bat rep for it, and I must say, I am so in love with that game. I think Aeronautica, it is pushing Warcry for my favorite GW made game. I liked it that much. Other new miniature games, I saw one called Burrows and Badgers, which is like a bunch of anthropomorphic animals fighting. Yeah, Aeronautica. More people need to play Aeronautica. If there is one thing anyone in this chat should go try, it is Aeronautica Imperialis. I am so upset with myself I put it off this long to try properly. I absolutely love that game, playing it. It is so easy to learn, but the tactical depth and the fact that it's a three-dimensional game, because you not only move your models around the table on the hexes, but you also have a mechanic called altitude where your models go up and down, and if you're at too far an altitude difference, you can't actually shoot each other. So not only do you have to move, but you have to play altitude. Like playing your altitude out, because you can just fly right underneath someone and not be able to shoot them. It is such a good game. But back to other games I've started picking up. Yeah, like I said, Burrows and Badgers is really interesting me. Recently, other games, I'm quite interested to play. I'm quite interested to play the new Kings of War game. So, Mantic just put out skirmish rules for the Kings of War minis, so I'll be quite interested to give that a go. Because any mass battle game that I can use those same minis for another game that's a skirmish version, I'm in on. That's why I like Warcry so much. Kill Team's a big one, and why I like Kill Team. I want to get into Kill Team more because it's a game with minis I already own. I love these multi-system games. Or minis that provide me with multiple systems. And I know, like, you know, you can use whatever minis you want for whatever game. But it is, you know, a benefit when you go, like, cool, I've got the actual minis. I've got this actual Stormcast army, and I can play Warcry with my Stormcast. I enjoy that sort of mechanic. What else has interested me lately? I don't think it's too many new. I think it's definitely catching up with games I haven't had a chance to put on the table yet. So getting my Twisted stuff all painted up and getting that on the table. Getting Umbra Tourist painted up and put on the table. Umbra Tourist is awesome. I'll show you one of the minis. There's one reason I like Umbra Tourist, and that is because they have pumpkin people called Diniacs. This is a Diniac. He is a sentient jack-o'-lantern man. So Umbra Tourist will be... It's a really cool game too, Umbra Tourist. The idea is you're actually building warbands, and you can actually mix your races. It's effectively, I guess the idea of the game is my D&D party versus your D&D party. Is very much how I like to look at it. So that's made by a wargaming couple in Ukraine. Not Ukraine, sorry, Poland. Poland. Wrong country. Ukraine is Signum Games, which I have some minis for there. They sent me out some minis. They're now working out of Poland for obvious reasons. But yeah, so there's a few games I've been interested in. Yeah, it's mostly games I've already bought stuff for, and finally getting them actually on the table is a big part of what's getting me interested in games at the moment. I'm not big on historicals, though Hail Caesar is definitely appealing. If I'm going to play a historical, it's going to be, you know, like medieval, sort of ancient history rather than modern history. I'm not big on, like, you know, like World War set games and all that sort of stuff. Not my thing. But yeah, Hail Caesar's been appealing. Blood and Plunder, I'm quite interested in. I know it's modern here, but like pirate era stuff is interesting to me. I like pirates and all that sort of stuff. So that's definitely a game that's appealing that I'd like to maybe get into. And the other one that, like, just because I like the minis, Infinity's been pretty interesting. Interesting me of late, but it's a matter of just getting into that. Oh, nice. Yeah, like that's sort of it's something different. That's why, like, I know it's like obviously not spaceships, but Blood and Plunder, like being sailboats, has been really appealing. Also, what's Mantic's one called? Forget the name. Mantic's ship combat one. That's set in the Kings of War world. Has been another really interesting one for me. Armada. Thank you very much, Robin. That's been appealing of late. I've got my Dreadfleet box set that's still not painted up, so that may actually see the light of day and get painted up at some point. Got about 8 minutes, and we'll jump over to Warhammer 2. Maybe we should. Give me a sec. I'm going to bring this down, and I'm going to go on over and sort stuff out. Oh, that's cool, MH777. That's really cool. I like alt history. There's a game called from Mercer Miniatures called Darklands, where it's effectively fantasy mixed with Dark Ages. So in the Dark Ages, like you've mixed the beliefs of those sort of factions with and weird like monsters with the like Byzantines and the Goths and all that sort of stuff. I've got the Warhammer thing set up, so we can check that out when it goes live. Where did my brush go? Oh, hidden it. So Gorthor Brown, so now we're going to start highlighting the dark leather. Alex Martin, hello. Who's actually real? All right, so we're just going to wait for this to go properly live, and then I'll full screen it and all that. How is the sound on that, on the stream for everyone? Can you all hear? Alex, thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoy the content on the channel, mate. So we'll be going. Yeah, if someone wants to let me know how the sound is from the stream. Yeah, it's through the mic. Can you hear the stream sound? Can you hear the music being played? If not, do you need it louder? Awesome. Thank you, Alex Martin. Also, don't forget, guys, if you are like John and Robin and a couple of the others in the stream, if you'd like to help support the channel, you can do so via our YouTube members, which is going to give you a couple of cool emojis, the ones in the stream you can use. As we get closer to another goal for YouTube members, we'll be able to add some more emojis to the chat, which our YouTube members will get to vote on what we see. There we go, there's that cool little emoji set. All right, so last chance to give a shout out for what you reckon we're going to see today. John, I have not. It is on the read list. I'm currently trying to plow through my backlog of Black Library books I've not read. Currently, the list just finished Void King and now listening to Kazakin, and Grumbrindle will be next. All right, they're asking about Ripper Snarlfang, so maybe we are seeing Wolf Riders. Right, I'm going to be back in a sec. I'm going to quickly go to the toilet and get another drink while we wait for this to start. Nice. Going to be your first book read, John. Awesome. I have read some of the short stories that make up part of it. They are pretty cool. Yeah, we still haven't seen everything from last week. Last set of reveals, though, like we've still got a few things on the way. Millennial Model. I am so looking forward to City States. I can't wait to see them from Parabellum. Bunch of cool stuff. Mantic's new minis are being great. GW keep putting out good minis. Oh, nice. Yeah, there's so we truly do live in a golden age of minis. There are so many cool minis to go get. I mean, like, yeah, we focus on a ton of Warhammer and Games Workshop related stuff on the channel, but I definitely do play like other games. I'm really excited for Elder Scrolls to finally get the Bandits, not Dragon Boy, Bandits, Dawn Guard, and Volknir Vampires all on the channel. Get the minis for them, get that game going. For Alligator Warrior, that would be sweet. Well, we technically do have a new Zinch unit on the way. We've got those Jade Cultists coming with Warcry. That's a new Zinch unit. Bone Reapers would be awesome. I do have a Bone Reapers army. I've got to get it painted. I do have a Bone Reapers army that I'd love to see get some love so I can get it up on the channel. Yeah, that would be cool. My favorite non-GW game? I would say Moonstone. Alex Martin. I would say Moonstone. I really, really like that game. Right, put the paints away for now because we're about to get started. iPad. So I can still see what all of you are saying. Freezer, hello, how are we? Hello to everyone just joining us live. We're about to hit the actual stream, so... There we go.
Hello everybody, we are live. Welcome to this very special Warhammer preview online, live from the Rock here at Warhammer World. My name is Adam Troke and I'm joined tonight by the Lawmaster himself, Alex Doddy.
Hello everyone.
It is lovely to have you all with us. How are you doing tonight, Alex?
I'm doing all right. It's a little bit early for us, isn't
It is, yes. I was torn between saying tonight and this morning, and both feel equally right and wrong. So, is this your first time doing one of these?
Yes, my first time doing preview.
Excellent. Well, welcome aboard. This is going to be a good way to spend an hour or so we're glad to see you, and in fact, all of you with us in the stream. There's about 7,500 to 8,000 of you so far, so while people are flocking in, let me set the stall. What we're going to do over the next hour or so is we're going to look at a load of previews across a whole spectrum of different Warhammer topics, Warhammer 40,000, Warhammer Age of Sigmar, a little bit of Underworlds. We're going to delve into some Necromunda, and there's something in there for everybody. So, before we do, we've got a few little bits and pieces to get out of the way. The first thing I suppose to do is to properly welcome all of you very lovely people who've flocked into the stream. It might be a really weird time of day or night for you. Give us a shout out in the chat and let us know where you're joining us from and roughly how tired on the patent pending tired scale of 1 to 10 that you really are. And here it goes. It's
been the middle of the day and I haven't had a nap and I was up early. I'm actually tired.
Today,
but it's only like 2:30 here.
Grand Narrative Finale event, which is happening in New Mexico, out in the US. Some of you might have seen some of the gaming being streamed. About now, or maybe just a few minutes ago, there was a sort of identical preview to this being run by Eddie and Mike Brandt, and so they've previewed Up a Storm. So, meanwhile, the chat has gone wild. Where are some of the people calling in from? We've got Indiana, South Africa, Adelaide, Australia, and it's the middle of the afternoon. What a perfect time for you. Tokyo, Kingsport, Tennessee? TN? Is TN Tennessee? I have no idea. My American state knowledge is...
We'll say too, please no spoilers in the chat. If you have seen anything, we like to do these nice and fair. So everyone here's getting a first look and gets to go through all the excitement.
All with us. It's one of my favourite things, genuinely. Ooh, somebody from Southampton. That's right down the road from where I grew up.
Just starting on the reveal stream, Rustbelt.
Filling up, and we're getting ready to kick this off properly. Have you done any hobbying lately? What's your Warhammer sort of hobby time been filled with?
Oh, I've been building Curse City at the moment. I
Curse
was looking to grab a box the other week. I've slowly been building up piece by piece. What about yourself?
Well, that's a good question. So most recently, my hobby activity has been Dark Angels, which is probably no surprise to anybody who knows me. But it's been Horus Heresy era Dark Angels this time around. So I've got a good friend called Mark, and we sort of have like roughly every half year or so like a big game. And so we had a crazy arms race for the last few weeks, sort of building up to this big battle, which I duly won, more through luck than skill, I have to say. And he's doing Dark Angels as well, but with a sort of Caliber Knight rebellion theme going on. So it was proper Dark Angels on Dark Angels action, and the Dark Angels won, hooray! Yes, if you're doing hobby, there maybe you're hobbying as you watch. Let us know what you're up to. That would be good to see. I did hear, before we go much further, it's nice hearing these people are tuning in.
I mean, you guys are here to come talk to me, ideas. I'd like to think he's here to come watch hobby with me.
This morning, and he's woken up early to tune in for the stream. So good luck with the wedding, and also welcome to the stream.
Very brave.
Yeah, right. So we are
nothing yet, Jimmy.
About 10,000 people, which is lovely. And there's lots of people still.
It's just the fact at the start of the stream, pretty much.
Painting a Spartan tank last night. Yes, so I've got the Spartan tank still on its frames that came in that big Horus Heresy box. I built a Predator because I thought that would be quicker, and so got a Predator sort of speed built and painted ready for the game. I haven't braved the Spartan tank yet. I'm more of a speed painter than a pro builder, and some of those bigger kits definitely intimidate me.
I built the Spartan from a Salamander's Force.
Oh yeah,
purely to see how it sat against the Land Raider. And it's a big,
it's a big boy, right? Yeah.
We're here watching a stream of a stream. Yeah, well, reaction channels are all the rage.
Okay, I think apparently, Alex, you might need to boom more into your mic. The chat, they want to hear your dulcet tones more powerfully. So, if you are just joining us, allow me to re-welcome you, or welcome you for the first time. This is, of course, the Warhammer Preview Online for the Grand Narrative Finale 2022. It's, if you don't know what the Grand Narrative Finale is, it's the culmination of loads of fantastic games of Warhammer 40,000 and Warhammer Age of Sigmar and all the other sorts of Warhammer that have been going on all across the United States of America in these amazing events. And they're all in this fantastic venue in New Mexico, playing games all weekend long. I know lots of my friends on that side of the pond are flocking to this event to roll dice and just have great fun. And they've had a preview there. And so we're now bringing all of that information to you live wherever you are across the world. Okay. I think I might be getting the nod from Raf. I should introduce the third invisible member of our stream. Of course, Raf, the tech priest with all the buttons. And thank you to Notley in the chat, the Moderati, who will be helping keep.
Alrighty, so
let us begin with the Warhammer 40,000.
Alrighty. Surely we're seeing World Eaters, yeah?
In the blood-slicked halls of
Yeah.
our legion
Yeah.
stand cages of hellish brass. Within these infernal chambers, esoteric rituals and torturous augmentations bind an octet of demons to a raging berserker. Finally, the screaming stops and the candidate emerges. It is magnificent.
Ooh. Now I feel like a real reactor seeing having like cool music on. That was cool.
What a lot of World Eater goodness.
Mm-hmm.
So there's quite a lot to take in there. Behind us, you can see the first of these kits. Should we talk about what these are? What are the 8-bound, Alex?
They look
Well,
sweet.
World Eaters are renowned for being particularly vicious and brutal in combat. Now imagine somebody poked some big syringes into the back of the butcher's nails that are in your head, locked you in a box that was covered in skulls, and then forced 8 demons inside of you.
So quite literally bound 8 demons inside
Yes,
them.
so as the name suggests, and the World Eater then has to kind of fight for supremacy over their form. So sometimes they disappear, sometimes turn into a chaos spawn. They're probably the lucky ones because, as you can see from these fellas, they are incredibly angry. So when they finally emerge from that box, this is what we get.
It's pretty cool. There's a really interesting thing with sort of
pretty metal.
this binding demons into mortal forms. You know, it increases the strength enormously, but you know, it has the potential to like absolutely ruin and ravage the form here. But these guys just look incredibly hench. So these are 8-bound, and I think in the video we saw that the 8-bound kit has 2 sort of options or sides to it.
Yes.
So these are exalted 8-bound, I presume, just more powerful 8-bound. How would you summarize them?
Well, so in the initial 8-bound, they've had to fight for supremacy with these 8 demons. And so they've got some power, some benefits, but if you've survived long enough as an 8-bound and you found a sort of equilibrium with your demons, all 9 have become sort of a conglomerated being now. And you can see from these guys, they have certainly upped the game. They're sort of more in the line of possessed than like a
cool.
regular.
These are like the one.
Yeah, you can sort of see some of those visual clues, can't you?
Yeah.
The top left, his arm is distended into sort of like a big demonic claw, and obviously it'd be hard to miss the demonic sort of his feet have burst through his Space Marine sort of power armor, haven't they? Yeah, these look amazing.
These are
I've
cool
heard
minis.
them described as intertwined souls no longer fight for control, but instead fight in a rage-filled harmony.
Yes.
If rage can ever be harmonious, these guys have found it. So in terms of what they bring to a World Eater's army, obviously these are super powerful combat unit, right?
Yes, that's it. They obviously don't want to shoot from range. They've got no guns. It's all combat all of the time. These guys are probably one of the best combat units in the game. They are big, they are strong, they're brutal, and you've just got to look at those weapons and know they are going to carve their way.
At least in 40k, there's a lot
so the
less
exalted
models to
Eggman,
paint in a common army.
You can see on the ones on either side, they have mutated chain fists. So they're going to be able to can opener absolutely anyone, vehicles included.
Yep, the worst handshake in the 41st millennium.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I've got
Awesome.
60
But these weren't the only
Blood
sort of
Reavers
cool
I'm painting
new
up.
thing we
There's a
saw
lot
in
of
that preview video. What on earth are jackals?
These are sort of a cultist equivalent. So whilst the cultists typically follow around various Chaos Space Marine warbands, etc., the jackals are a
Not seeing a
World
flail
Eaters
there, though.
specific. These guys, in the same way as most things corny, have decided to eschew firearms and have gone totally combat.
Yeah, fantastic. They really do look unutterably.
What are we
savage,
thinking so
don't
far of the corn stuff, though? Right.
There's quite a lot to
all
think in.
the
What's the
details
the
as
story
always,
of
but these are really, really cool.
Sort of tanks. It almost looks like tanks of blood on their back.
Yes. So on the back, they've got
For alligator, very much
tanks
so.
full
Do
of
agree
various
with that.
Chemicals, stims,
But-
friends on, that kind of thing to make them exceptionally hitty. But they've got a little secret ingredient. Each one contains 8 drops of World Eater blood, just for that extra boost.
So they're sort of bound in a way to the World Eaters. Legion.
Yeah, I'd love to see these in
some
Killjoy.
way. That's really cool. In terms of these, there's a few things to point out, I suppose. The first is, if you look on the left-hand side...
We won't
of
get
this,
exact world
array, you can
release
see
dates
one
from
that
this,
is sort of
Jimmy.
bigger, and... Oh, there you go. Raph's got a new feature. So this is a Dishonored, which is an abhuman amongst the jackals.
This is the dude from
bigger,
the
more
first
powerful,
silhouette.
lumbering
I think.
sort of unit champion, if you like.
Because look, there's
What's
the little
there to say
mark,
about him
the
other than
break
he's
I was
just
talking
the biggest
about.
and nastiest in the mob. I think the thing that's really
I
nice
think
about
he's
these is we've seen quite a lot of good cultist goodness, haven't we?
Yes.
For sort of the Chaos Space Marines. But these really feel like they're just absolutely dialed into the sort of core of what makes the World Eater special.
That's exactly it. So it's all that combat goodness of them, all the weapons, the very
Just need
reminiscent
Emperor's Children now, and we've got
of
the
World
got the
Eaters
major four.
themselves.
It's the only one
But
we
they're
don't have,
immortal
because we've got Thousand Suns,
Yeah,
we've got
which
Death
is
Guards, we've
what
got
you want out of
Corn
World Eaters
now.
cultists.
Yeah, they've
Emperor's
done
Children,
a really nice
please.
job, the sort of Citadel studio team, with enough cues that you can see who they should be
Yes.
fighting alongside, but they're still their distinct own thing. I love them. I think these look fantastic. And you can sort of imagine them being herded at the enemy as like almost like a meat shield, right, to soak up bolt rounds and las cannon shots and things. While the
No, they're cool minis.
the
Like, there's no
Legionnaires,
doubt about it. They're really, really
get to
cool
it.
minis.
Fantastic. These were not alone. Was also we saw the Lord on Juggernaut.
Yes.
This is
He's
cool.
looking particularly brutal, and he's got that on his forehead. He's got the symbol of corn sort of scarred in.
Yeah, absolutely. So this we've previously previewed the Lord Invocatus,
That's it.
and this is from the same kit. So there's options
Yes.
in there.
Okay.
Should you rather
That's
have
cool.
your Lord just be a regular Lord rather than the Lord Invocatus? Here you go.
Mhm.
And as you pointed out, so there's the option for the unhelmeted head. This helmeted head with the sort of iconic World Eaters sort of.
I do like the helmeted head on that one. The helmeted head
crest.
is really, really cool.
It also enables you to build that Lord Invocatus that we've shown. I think it was the last preview we did.
Yes.
And it is somebody in the chat.
Oh,
pointed
you mean
out,
the one on the right?
It's a bit of a glow up from when I was about 14 or 15. I think the Metal Corn Lord on Juggernaut came out. It was about the weight of a small child. Massive piece of metal. And yeah, it's all those sort of same classic look and feel, but brought to life. And tell me I didn't say Lord Avocado. Somebody in the chat has that's potentially a very good nickname. I am really mindful, chat, that it is very late or early, depending on which way you look at it, and I'm deeply dreading sort of combining my words in some unnatural fashion, much like the unnatural fashion in which flesh and demon and metal have been combined with these. And of course, the World Eaters would not be complete without a new codex. And here is the cover. What do you make of
That's
it?
a nice codex
Yeah,
cover.
it's absolutely glorious. It's exactly what you would want. You've got a big fella on the front with a pair of axes. You've got skulls everywhere. In fact, there's one.
They're walking
Yeah.
on a carpet.
One poor little fella offering up a skull to a World Eater Space Marine who is paying him no heed whatsoever.
The chat has gone wild for this. Lots of people really liking it. I think this is amazing. On a personal level, it's answered a question I've wondered since I was but a young lad, which is, why do World Eaters sometimes have their arms bare? Look at the muscles on this dude. There's no way he's fitting that back into his power armor. It's amazing. Even the sides of his sort of cornate crest on his helmet look really dangerous. And you might not be able to see it. I've had a really good look at this cover. But if you look down at the bottom left, there is so sort of the cover that's sort of imposed. Down at the bottom left, he is the wrongest looking Chaos Space Marine you've ever seen in your entire life.
I can only imagine he's one of those the Ascended
Oh yes, yeah,
Exalted
maybe
8 pound.
part of the 8 pound. Yeah, fantastic.
I do love, like they said, the little
There's just something
little cultist
truly
hovering up the
insane
skull.
and marvelous about
Giant
the,
corn warrior.
The World
It's
Eaters
like,
League.
what a skull!
I can see why they have so many fans. Somebody in the chat is saying, when is the Codex coming? I'm hamstrung by the fact that I haven't got that in front of me. And also, we don't typically talk about exactly when. All I can say is fairly soon. And this is the sort of gloriousness you can expect. Let's not talk about the fact that the Dark Angels on the right-hand side of the screen are in lots of trouble. Let's talk about this amazing array of World Eaters all brought together for the first time in their proper own big codex. It's going to be amazing.
And there's the Lord Invocatus, the alternate build for that Lord
fantastic.
Juggernaut.
Yeah,
over
so
there on the right-hand side.
The aesthetic difference there being like his face is like melded with his armor. It's like a sort of a leering demonic visage.
Demon
His
Prince is
Juggernaut
cool.
has a chainsword for a horn.
Yes, that's pretty awesome. A little nod also, there's some things in this that answer a few questions if you'd wondered about what else might be inside the codex. The Corn Lord of Skulls in the background, there's going to be rules for that. And obviously the Primarch of the Legion Angron was there. And then just more goodness, I saw this picture when we had a little bit of a chat about this preview yesterday, and I really like Chaos Space Marine Terminators. It's the tusks, I think, that do it.
There's a great flow to them. You can feel like a sense of presence as if they are stalking towards you. They're not running, though I suppose World Eater ones would run. But it's almost like that impending doom to them.
Yeah, there's something really sort of intimidating and inexorable about them. Answer to a question in the chat. These are the same Kazakin which were in the Kill Team box set that released recently. I think they just painted it in a different colour. That was quite a lot of World Eaters goodness. Fantastic. Of course, we are by no means done, and we may return to the 41st millennium shortly with more information. But let's just take a little bit of a detour, perhaps into the mortal realms.
Okay.
So,
wow!
For a while now, people have been wondering what the next battle tone for Warhammer Age of Sigmar
Beasts
are, and
that's such a cool cover.
Is
wow, was not
Chaos
expecting
Battle
this.
Beasts of Chaos. What can people expect?
Improved stat lines, basically conglomerating everything together. You've got Sangors, you've got all your different beast herds, Gravespawn, Quake Fray, everything like that. That's all been sort of updated for Age of Sigmar 3rd edition, and it's all packed into this battle tome.
Incredible. And I suppose, like every beast herd, they need somebody to lead them.
Indeed.
We're getting a new Beast Lord. New Beast Lord model. Oh my god. Okay, he's cool. New Beast Lord. Nice.
Well, aside from the video being absolutely amazing and very funny, it also unveiled an awesome new plastic Beast Lord for the.
He's cool.
Beasts
That's a
of
really
Chaos,
nice mini.
Who is that sort of perfect leader for your Beasts of Chaos army.
He's a particularly vicious-looking chap.
And I think we may have a little preview of some rules.
Oh, okay.
So, you mentioned that the rules have been revised for the new battle tone, and here you get a sense of what's changed, I guess.
This unit's within 3 of enemy heroes. Moon rolls for attacks member
allow the units
cool, so if he's in combat, he gives out +1 a hit
one after
wound.
the other. So combined with his new ability to add hit rolls and wound rolls for friendly Beasts of Chaos.
Problem is, if he's within 3 inches of
12
any
inches
enemy
of
heroes, he's dying.
He's going to be very dangerous for enemy heroes.
Yeah, absolutely. And Beast of Chaos, one of those sort of iconic sort of Warhammer.
Problem is, he's
aren't they? These
never
sort
going
of,
to survive to get that
feral,
roll off.
monstrous creatures who sort of live
I
out
can't
in the
see him
wilds
being
and
tough enough
are
to
just
survive.
determined to throw down sort of all of the trappings of order. But it is fair to say that the Beasts of Chaos are not the only battle tome on the horizon.
No.
In fact, they will be followed in quick succession by these guys. There's been quite a lot of shouting for them in the chat, so fear not. The Gloomspite Gits have not been forgotten, and
Really disappointed it's the same
revising
artwork.
all of their rules and giving you all of the Gloomspite goodness that you could possibly hope for.
Why is it the same artwork? That's so
on
annoying.
the horizon.
There's been a bit of a stat increase for a lot of the Gits, I believe.
Yes, yeah. So I've heard that they've been, I believe the word is buffed in a few different ways. So it should be good to see. But of course, the thing that everybody gets excited about is, are there any models coming for the battle tomes and the codexes and that sort of thing? And yes, there are, from a somewhat surprising quarter. Raph, show us what's coming.
Okay. Oh, we are getting Wolf Riders. Okay. Happily wrong.
So these are the Snarlfang Riders, and they are simply an amazing new plastic kit on the horizon. Can you sort of give us any insight, Alex?
The perfect sort of reimagining of the old Wolf Riders.
Yes, sort of very reminiscent of those sorts of classic models.
They're part of the Git mobs, and so when all the goblins decided to go their own ways, the Bad Moons went for the caverns and the deep places. The spider grots disappeared into the jungles and kind of befriended all the spiders that wanted to eat them.
Befriended quotation marks.
These fellas decided to make the best of it out on the open sort of plains of the realms.
Mm-hmm.
And as part of that, you often need to get from place A to place B pretty fast. And a wolf is ideal for that.
Yeah, that's great. You were telling me beforehand that they have a unique perspective on the sort of howling at the moon concept as well, right?
Yes. So whilst they respect the Bad Moon, as all grots must do, they also, being out on the plains, they often see the light of Hish.
Very good.
And that's what it's the frazzle, is what they call it. And that's the fear that obviously being out, you're being burnt by that light, and the goblins are a massive fan of it.
No, I imagine not. To talk about
these aren't necessarily evil. They're
you mentioned sort of that callback to the classic Wolf Riders, or even sort of I think it was Hobgoblicons cavalry back in the really old Dogs of War days. These are sort of a wonderful bringing together of all of those ideas and rejuvenating it. They're just incredible. And also, somebody in the chat has made my favourite pun of the day when he said "rough riders." That truly is top work for this time of night/morning. In terms of rules, they're apparently not too shabby. What's your shtick here?
So it's as it says there, add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made with this unit's slavering jaws. So basically, if an enemy has previously been wounded, the wolves can smell the blood in the air, and they go into a bit of a frenzy.
Sounds really good to me. Fantastic. So I think it's fair to say that it's there's exciting things on the horizon for the mortal realms, but a lot of people have been wondering what's coming next, and here is a sense of it. Obviously, the army box for Slaves of Darkness has recently dropped.
Yep.
I saw Charles in my office excitedly opening his I think it was Wednesday. Beasts of Chaos, new on the horizon. Gloomspite Gits coming in fast behind. In the spring, there will be 5 more battle tomes following up. There's an Order battle tome followed by 2 Chaos battle tomes and then 2 Death battle tomes. And so you're in for like a 6 months of just fantastic releases, all for the Mortal Realms, battle tomes and rules for your models, all sort of slamming in soon. We'll let you speculate for now. On what
There's a reason why because we're probably getting a new 40k
It's an
edition.
exciting
So
time
they're going to pump
for
out Age of Sigmar. We're probably not going to see as much Age of Sigmar in the back end of next year.
in general. I think this brings us back to us. Boom, here we are. So we're approaching the halfway point of this preview. There have been some great things. There's still people being excited about the World Eaters in the chat, which I have massive respect for. We are not quite done.
Maybe.
With the Gits, though, but maybe from a different direction. Let's have a look.
Okay, we're going to see Underworlds. Warcry, sorry. Warcry, not Underworlds. Oh, no, Underworlds. Oh my god, that squid catapult! That squid slingshot is amazing! Oh. That's cool. These are really nice. Oh, he's got a hammer! That's cool. Oh, that's too. Oh, Gloomspite Gits, you do it again.
Whenever we do one of these previews, there is always something that steals the show.
Yes.
And judging by the way the chat has reacted, I've got a feeling it might well be these guys, and in particular, the squig on a stick.
Yes.
So here we have
Do you notice the squig on a stick?
Loon Court, which it's a wonderful name. They're fantastic looking models, and they've got a great sort of story and conceit behind them. What's the deal with Grincrack's Loon Court?
So these are the Loon Knights. So Grincracker's kind of set up his own Knights of the Round Table type shtick. And so he's convinced all these other grots that they are his knights. He actually knights them with his boss stick.
Fantastic.
And so
That's actually brilliant.
Unusually for grots, they are remarkably loyal. So as part of their whole deal, they have to go on quests. So in-game, you can assign them a quest. And if they complete the quest, you get glory tokens as for completing any objective. But that's how they inspire.
Oh, fantastic. Okay.
Oh my god.
So
this just sounds amazing.
In addition to sort of a really fun sort of story concept behind them, they've got some just wonderfully bananas models, and we've got to talk about them. My favourite, without a doubt, and this might fly against the general trend of the chat, is Snorbo de Spore up in the top right. He has his own Spore trumpet, which is a missile weapon.
Yep.
It's not powerful. I don't know what we'd expect from essentially a mushroom trumpet, but it's suitably wonderful. And he has the best looking sort of pointy hat you've ever done seen. But next to him, we have the very excellent Poking Snark, who has, as the chat has rightly pointed out, squig on a stick. There is... I don't even know how to describe it. Skulko and Pronk, you can barely see one of them. He's hidden behind that shield, operating the Squigapult. In the centre, you obviously have Grincrack himself. And then you have...
Grib, the wonky lance.
There you go. And his lance is properly wonky in that it actually looks like a polo mallet.
Well, that's it. So he's got a lance as if he would charge you down with it, but it very much has it looks like he's got it stuck on a log or something. But yeah, it's a hammer.
I think it's militant polo in action. You've got to love it. And these guys, it's just this like wonderful bananas warband. They've got rules. I don't know if we're going to go over them, but they're suitably jolly. Oh, there we go. So here's a little taste. Grincrack As you can see, he's not like the killingest. But if you are willing to mob up and outnumber the enemy, is that the way to win with them?
Yes. So Grincracker, yeah, as you said, his stats are not particularly inspiring, nor are any of the warband. But you can get a lot of them on the board, particularly for Underworlds. And if you can be quite tactical, because various quests involve delving, various quests involve causing damage or surviving damage.
How cool is it? Underworlds, once again, will be the best minis.
Get that extra boost to take down the enemy. And as you said, if you can mob up a couple of enemy characters, particularly if you've got quite a limited warband against you, say only 3 models, they could do surprisingly well.
Sounds great to me. And once again, I think it must be said that the Warhammer Studios have just blown out the park with the I have to mix my metaphors. Knocked it out of the park with just incredible Warhammer Underworlds warband once more.
There's real character in it.
Yeah, isn't there though? It's so good. I can't get over what a lovely way it is to sort of dabble in a different part of Warhammer than you might be used to. You know, just have a little sort of flutter with some Gloomspite Gits. Sounds great. Somebody said, where are the Empire previews? I don't know if that's a reference to the Old World. When there is more Old World news, we will be sure to bring it to you. But I would imagine that preview will be well signposted with exactly what you can expect when it is coming. Right. Okay. The march of time continues inexorably onwards. And next up, we go to Necromunda.
This is the one I probably care about the least. First one was Necromunda. This is Cordo or Delac? Quarter, isn't it, faithful?
So, House Cawdor goes into the Ash Wastes, I suppose, is the answer here, and does so in a fairly unconventional way with the Cawdor Ridge Walkers. What can you tell us about these?
Well, they're very brave to start off with. Everybody else has gone out with rebreathers and protective gear, and these fellas have the guy up at the top's basically got a snorkel. And the rest of them just have cloth around their mouths, which is...
It would be easy to feel fairly sorry for House Cawdor.
Yes.
You think the Orlocks have their Outrider motorbikes, and the Goliaths have their Maulers, these massive things. But the Cawdor, they're a little more devout, so there's some logic behind what they're doing in their own way, right?
Yes, it's as if somebody has described a sentinel to them at some point, and they've attempted to replicate it. So these guys obviously are incredibly devout. This is almost like a holy quest. They're knights venturing out into the wastes to slay the great monsters.
There's something truly mad about the way
I do like these. These are cool.
Function. They're sort of the bottom of the food chain, so you can imagine them sort of scavenging together, and there's a real sort of what's the right word for it? Scrap combination going on with all of their bits of like nothing looks like it quite works. It's all very ramshackle, and yet what they've made is things that can sort of carry them above the rad wastes as they go on their little errands. But in terms of weapons, they're fairly well armed. I think it's fair to say.
Yes.
The frag lance being the most iconic of their pieces of war gear. It's basically a big grenade on a stick.
Yes, and it's a bit of a one-time wonder. But as you can see from here, even after you've spent the grenade, it's still quite an effective stick.
Yeah, it's not too bad for just bashing things. I think if they were going to have an advantage, it's numbers, right?
Yes.
I mean, in this set, you get 4 models, so you can imagine them sort of stalking ahead of your Cawdor gang.
That's cool.
Maybe sort of trying to
Cawdor would be,
sort
if I
of
got into
corral
Necromunda,
me
Cawdor
and,
would probably be
sort
the
of,
faction I get into,
send
I
them
think.
into some places. House Cawdor it's got that really lovely sort of penitent crusade sort of zealous thing going on. So the idea that they've seen on a grainy sort of picked capture somewhere deep in their hive, you can imagine sort of Sebastian the Aric sort of stood heroically as like a picked cast from the victories of Armageddon is played or something, and they see Steel Legion Sentinels tromping around in the background like, oh, we want to be just like those guys. And then off they go. Yes, quite a lot of love for Cawdor in the chat as well, it must be said. I've just said the word Yarrick, and I think I might have... yeah, sorry, guys.
It's too soon.
I mean, it's never too... Yarrick is like easily top 3 Warhammer 40,000 characters of all time for me.
Definitely.
So in my heart, he will live, if nowhere else.
F's in the chat for poor Yarrick.
You get a series of heads, different upper and lower bodies. There's also a bit of armor you can add to the front of these guys. So it's, as you said before, it's one of those groups that you could probably get, a couple of
It's pretty cool.
boxes of and swarm the enemy, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think these are going to be a kit basher's delight as well. It's always interesting to see which kits are going to be picked up by sort of, the hobbyists out there and turned into interesting new things. I also want to know what happens if you try and connect 2 of these together. Do you get like a weird sort of crazy ash-walking dog? I've no idea. Somebody can do that, and then I'll see it on that internet. Brilliant. Right. So what's nice about this, I suppose, before we just roll on too much, is that Necromunda continues to sort of surge forward with this Ash Wastes theme. There was a really cool looking preview.
Yeah, Rustbelt Blacksmith. That was
a new thing just this week.
We've just not seen the middle one now.
Red.
Yes, I've completely blanked on it as well.
There you go. Somebody in the chat will fill us in quick. Help us out. So I think we're seeing each of the sort of big clan houses. Yeah, there you go, the Iron Crawler. Thank you. How would you even say your name? Rister. Each of the big clan houses is getting their own thing. Somebody in the chat was like, "Oh, I wonder what maybe House Delac or Van Sar might get." Well, I agree. I wonder too, and maybe in good time we'll get to see it.
I like it. As much as Ash Waste left the sour taste on the mouth.
What's next for us, I suppose, is to return to Warhammer 40,000.
All right, so we're going to see what the big story is.
Unfolding narrative, which we sort of alluded to in the last of these previews. Raph, hit it.
Alrighty. Who the hell is Vashtor?
So, Arks of Omen. We talked a little bit about this the last time we did a preview. It's this new unfolding narrative arc for Warhammer 40,000. And we mentioned, I think, that the first of the books in this sequence was going to be Abaddon, named for the War Master himself. But here we see the first 3 titles in this arc. So you have Arks of Omen, Abaddon, Angron, and then Vashtor. What is an Ark of Omen?
Well, in the 41st millennium, we've got something called a space hulk, which is essentially like a conglomeration of various spaceships, void vessels, rocks, you name it, all kind of crunched together. Now, these sometimes are in real space, sometimes they've been through the warp, so there's some very weird goings on with them. Now, Abaddon has teamed up with Vashtor to turn a huge number of...
So teamed up with Vashtor to make these things. Surely Vashtor is Dark Omen.
So they've been fitted with engines, they've been fitted with weapons and armor, and they've been made into essentially giant war vessels. And Abaddon and Vashtor have sent these out into the galaxy to recover something.
Fantastic. Now, there's a whole bunch of different things to cover off here. One is the chat keep asking who and or what is a Vashtor. We will get to that, I promise you. But one of the things to talk about with these books is that they're propelling this storyline of Abaddon's sort of next big sort of plan. You know, he's the War Master of Chaos. He's got this unending goal to collapse the Imperium of Man, to pitch the Emperor off of his throne, and you're going to get a chance to really see his gambit to let the galaxy burn. Here is a glimpse of the contents of that first Arks of Omen books. Something to note here is there are no rules in this for matched play, sort of that competitive style of Warhammer 40,000. The rules in here are for boarding action, so you don't need to have this to like add new or units to your armies and things. These are for tanking your games and exploring them in a
really do like that. No match play rules. Don't need that in here. Just
right?
make this something for narrative play for people who want to continue the story and play the story.
The Imperium itself or Xenos forces battle in these close confines. This picture here gives you a fantastic example of it. Very reminiscent of like Zone Mortalis style battles.
Yeah.
Zone Mortalis style battles.
Yes, it's all on the same sort of 2-inch squares. So this is the same sort of kits that you got in the Kill Team boxes.
That's right, yeah, absolutely.
They're all fought in a space hulk. And it's brutal, close quarters sort of firefights and combat. It's, you know, potentially smaller point games, but a lot more intense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the nice thing about these close confines battles, it will give you a very different feel to, for example, you know, when you're playing sort of big pitch battles on, you know, larger boards, and, you know, you've got tanks and like big heavy weapon teams and artillery pieces and things dominating the battlefield. This is down to sort of close confines and sort of small scale tactical maneuvering and things. I'm really excited to see how the gameplay looks.
I like playing with no vehicles. I've played plenty of boarding action games. We used to love them.
I'm quite excited to see what this does to the sort of continuing story of Warhammer 40,000.
Walkers used to do
endless
exist.
battle between the Imperium and Chaos, you know, that started off with Horus's Great Betrayal, sort of lies at the heart of this incredible universe. Here you can see.
We used to love it. We used to have. There used to be corridors out walkers not to fit
laid
down.
out with. You got Abaddon, you got Angron, and you got Vashtor. And then the fourth book, a tiny teaser, redacted by
Auto Xenos. Yes, please.
Auto Xenos. So make of that what you will. And it gives you a sense of how this timeline is going as well. Abaddon will land in the winter, and by late spring you can expect that fourth title. I've got to make a tiny little nod to one of the sort of visual things which is going on here, which I love. I was trying to work out for ages what these funny sort of shapes are between the images. Now, the chat, you might have already sussed it out. But those are top-down views of like Chaos battle cruisers. And suddenly the penny drops. There you go, ships. You've got it, Keyforgery. Apparently I was too slow on the uptake. Looks fantastic. Right. So, very exciting time if you're sort of a massive super nerd like me for the sort of the story of Warhammer 40,000. But there has been a question in the chat that has been asked perhaps more than any other, and that is, what on earth is a Vashtor? Well, let's get Wade Price, the sort of head of the Warhammer 40,000 lore team, to tell us.
Alrighty. What is Vashtor?
Demons and demonic entities in the warp are formed from coalesced emotions and drives of mortal creatures. We understand the greater gods of chaos to be formed from some of those primal mortal emotions, and Vashtor has been formed from the desire to create and manipulate and invent, to make things that didn't already exist. Vashtor wants to become a god. Vashtor is already considered a demigod, an independent demon within the realm of chaos. He is the arms dealer, the weapons broker of the great game that takes place between the chaos gods. So he's independent, he is too vital and valuable to any of them to risk attacking, but he wants more. So in the Vashtor miniature, we see an expression of chaos that we don't really see in the in the demons of the greater chaos gods. He is a demon of the Forge of Souls, a demon of machinery, of invention, and everything that we've associated with the obliterators, demon engines, that flesh metal fusion of the technological and the organic you can see in Vashtor. When he assumes a physical form like demons do
This
to enter
is
the material universe,
absolutely
Vashtor makes a
amazing mini.
form from machine parts and sacrificial meat, and that is what you see represented in the Vashtor miniature. We see Vashtor's armed with a hammer, which is the hammer of the Forge of Souls. And a hammer's a tool that can make things, it can destroy things. But that's different to what we've seen on demon princes. Vashtor's not a demon prince. He's not been elevated from the ranks of mortals to become a champion of one of the Chaos Gods. He is his own creation. And the fact that he's got that unique armament, I think, speaks to something of his character. Vashtor is a demon of the Forge. He's born aloft on a cloud of pollutant smoke and steam. He emanates foundry heat and crackling electric discharge. The wings are not really for show, but they're not carrying him aloft in the manner of a bird. They're probably fine tools for precise mechanical engineering as much as they are actually wings. They're a symbol of his status and a sign of his ambition to become something greater than he might already be. So Vashtor has formed an alliance with Abaddon. Abaddon has huge temporal power, mortal power in the material universe. Vashtor has significant power within the realm of chaos, and together they can forge something that will allow Vashtor to pursue his goals of becoming a god and allow Abaddon to pursue his ambitions of securing his dominion of the Imperial Nihilus.
It is a truly amazing mini. I haven't been...
I really enjoyed that.
Mm.
I've got to admit, this is very exciting.
You're going to see that mini in Golden Demon
setting
Age
the scene
so
and the
much.
tone for this. But an extremely exciting sort of piece of Warhammer 40,000 sort of lore and story, and then melded with a model which is just bananas good. So here he is. What do you make of Vashtor the Archiphane?
He is absolutely amazing. You could see from him here, he's this weird mixture of sort of meat and metal. He's somewhat reminiscent of, a typical kind of demon, as it were.
I don't think Games Workshop have ever truly made a model
things, but there's a lot
that is this
and he still
horribly
feels somewhat
horrifying.
like the demon engines that we've seen.
Yeah.
We've
Something
seen
like
like them
Moloch
going
or
on, like
something
make
that has
Bellicor
some
and Arcana and all
flesh
that. It's supposed to be big
confusion
scary.
parts.
This is a truly
absolutely. I
scary
think,
looking miniature.
And I'll need to go back and listen to what Wade had to say a couple of times, I think, to sort of fully take it all in. But essentially, not a servant to any of the Chaos Gods, but instead much in demand to all of them, because he's, I'm describing him, Vashtor is capable of sort of realizing these hideous soul-forged war machines and materiel, and it gives an explanation to things like the Helldrake, and as you said, the Mauler Fiend, and I saw someone in the chat like, does this have anything to do with like the obliterators? Whatever? I don't know, and I hope we'll get a little bit more information about all of that as times go by. But essentially, it's kind of like the smith, the right, the arms dealer almost of the warp, and the details on this are sublime. Wade mentioned that the flesh was scavenged from the sacrificial offerings made to bring him into the material universe, and then just it's sort of draped hideously over just incredible sort of intricate metal work, and he's got these pinioned wings like you'd expect from a demon prince, but they're like vicious looking blades. He's got these sort of chimney stacks on his back which look just like you see the ones on, I'm sure it's the is it the Hellfiend and the Mauler Fiend?
Yes.
Also,
he's
I'm
like machine god,
that claw
like
on
machine
the
god
upper right
Satan
is the
almost.
answer to a Omen engine.
And the hammer as well, I believe.
Really? I don't know. That's awesome. And that, as in his role as sort of like this smith of the Soul Forge, that hammer is a really sort of suitable and iconic weapon, isn't it? And you see it sort of glowing with it in a fire. I've just got a feeling that he's going to make quite a lot of appearances. For those who are wondering how big he is, you did see a scale shot of him aliside some of the Black Legion, whom he is assisting. He's made in fact, here you go. Here's a picture of him. This is Vashtor appearing in the presence of Abaddon aboard the Vengeful Spirit to strike the bargain with which they are both going to pursue these Arks of Omen. What he wants out of it, I guess, remains to be seen. Vashtor is a big model. He's on a 80mm base, I believe. So sizable, impressive figure. A big player. Slender Hunters point out, I was like, how big is he? And then we showed some art. But you can always go back to warhammercommunity.com and watch that video and see him alongside those Black Legionnaires, if you like.
I believe he's about 5 inches tall.
Really? Okay. So he's going to tower above your sort of line infantry, and he's right up there amongst things such as Demon Princes. Of course, I don't think he'll settle forever to being just the Demon Prince. He's never had a mortal form.
No.
He's purely a creature of the warp.
That's it. He was always been, he always will be, and so throughout sort of the timeline of Warhammer 40,000, he's always been there somewhere in the background, and his power has grown when various factions have decided to do something that's maybe a little bit beyond their grasp. So the Necrons, when they did their biotransference,
oh my goodness, that's awesome.
Empowered him. Say the Cursed Founding, there was a lot of tinkering that the Magos Biologists were doing. That'll have given him a little boost. Or Call creating the Primaris. He's certainly somebody that would reach a little bit further than he should do. And all that kind of mad Machiavellian sort of science has boosted him. And now he's finally decided that he's going to make his move.
I love it. This is great. An incredible new character and model to sort of tie into this unfolding Arks of Omen narrative. God, you've blown my mind with the idea that, like, when like the biotransference of the Necrons is taking place somewhere deep in the warp, he's like, yes. Oh, that's sinister. Love it. Right. Well, that is the reveals for this Warhammer preview online.
It probably doesn't have an existence in
grabbed
iOS.
your fancy throughout all of this. Chat, let us know, what is the thing that has done it for you? While Alex
I would have said the Gloomspite Gits if Vashtor wasn't released. I really dig that mini.
Vashtor is amazing, and as you said, the push on the storyline for Warhammer 40,000 is incredible. But I have to go with the Loon Knights. Squig on a stick is.
So I think I might have been there with you. The Loon Court is amazing, and the Spore Trumpet is just about the best thing ever. But I think you might have won me over to Vashtor with your sort of explaining how he's ever present through these incredibly dark and interesting events of Warhammer 40,000's history. But we've seen loads of other great things as well. Obviously, those incredible World Eaters releases, the 8-bound, the Exalted 8-bound, I love how Raph is matching the Jackals. I'm going to keep going. The Lord of the Dishonored, the Lord on his Juggernaut. Perfect. Really, it's going to be an amazing time if Khorne is your thing. The World Eaters are getting the red carpet rolled out. Oh, that felt good. You're also, of course,
Beast
Battle
Lord
Times coming for Warhammer Age of Sigmar with the Beasts of Chaos and their brilliant new Beast Lord model. You've got the Gloomspite Gits, who people have been waiting for a while. There's passionate fan base behind those Gloomspite Gits, with their incredible new Snarlfang riders. And just because it's great, that Loon Court, I'm going too fast for Raph now, poor guy. Doing a great job. And of course, Necromunda gets a little nod. The Ash Wastes warfare continues with the Cawdor Ridgewalkers. And then
everything was cool. I don't think it was a bad reveal at all.
These Arks of Omen continue to unfold.
Vashtor was cool.
I'm very
Gloomspite was cool for Underworlds.
I mean, I'm excited for all of it.
The Cawdor stuff was cool as well.
1, 2, and 3 yet, and already I'm looking at number 4 going, oh, what is that little cheeky Ordo Xenos stamp
it's
alluding to?
Potentially a little hint to something.
Oh, sign me right up. And then, obviously, we unveiled the Arcaphane Vashtor for the first time.
True Maximunders, I will agree to that. The bad one was the Gloomspite reuse artwork. I don't know why they're doing it.
All that remains is to thank
it's part of the
you.
collector's appeal for getting the battle times for me.
Who've either woken up or stayed up, or maybe if you're in Australia, it's just like the middle of the afternoon and it's great to join us and to have some fun enjoying all these Warhammer previews. It's been a delight. Thank you, Raph, for pressing all the buttons and making us look like we know what we're doing. Thank you, Alex, for joining me and holding this thing down while Eddie is in New Mexico. Thank you to Notley for pressing all the buttons. But most importantly, thank you to all of you marvellous people for being in the chat, for being enthusiastic and enjoying Warhammer with us. We will be back again in the not too distant future. If you want more Warhammer goodness, there's going to be games going on all weekend long. I think I'm right in saying...
Alrighty, thank you all for coming and watching. Yeah, there was a ton of cool stuff released today, or revealed today, I should say. What was your favorite thing? Let us know in the comments. I'm going to head off. The wife, I've been out here for 3.5 hours now. The wife is surely wanting me back inside. So with that said, thank you all for coming and watching. Thank you all for choosing to join us and come over and have a chat. If you'd like to come join our Discord server, it's down in the video's description. Patreon, YouTube members, channel merch stuff is all down in the video's description as well. Once again, thanks for coming, everyone. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.